Welcome, everyone, to our success coaching call. Happy Wednesday and happy February, everyone. I am so grateful for this brand new month, all the things hot pink and hearts. I just love, love, love February. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be joining us from. If you'd like to say hello, please do so. What part of the world are you joining us from? It is a rainy, cozy, higgy day here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Our dear friends Andy and Natalie are traveling this week, so you get me solo, and I'm excited to drop in and be with you guys today. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Charlotte from St. Croix. Sounds gorgeous. Hi, Layla. Good morning. Our girl in Vermont there. Hi, Miss Becky. Nice to see you. Hi, Eleonora from Italy. So nice to have you. Bella, Bella, Bella. My husband and I, in the last week, we've been making homemade pasta, right, from scratch. And he has one of those pasta machine type things, right? You rolling it out. So I'm feeling very connected to Italia. So been loving that. My husband served a church mission way back in a different way, 8 lifetimes ago, but they're in Milan. So he actually speaks fluent Spanish and he speaks some Italian. So fun. Hi, Wisconsin. Hello. Nice to see you guys. Well, welcome to February. As we come into this new month, what are you going to create this month? What's your intention? What is your goal personally? What's your goal professionally? You have clarity on that. What are you going to create this month, right? The energy of creation. I don't know about the rest of you. It's one of those things, though. January for me was more of a slow ease into the year. We're here, at least in Salt Lake City in Utah, in our part of the world, it is very much winter, right? We're starting to see some elements of spring is around the corner, but still a month or two away. But it's like this energy, a little bit of easing into a new year. And now February definitely has more of this, like, okay, I'm ready. It's time to create some new things. There's some fun things that we're up to working on in my life and business, and some big shifts and changes that are coming. And so, yeah, working on a lot of different things. And it's like, we're in creation time. So, but I do invite you to get clear. I was participating in a Zoom webinar yesterday for my own personal development and growth, and really honing in on clarity. Have any of you read or listened to the book, The 12-Week Year? It's by two different gentlemen, but The 12-Week Year is the name of the book. And I really recommend it. I love the concept of it. And the mindset is really deciding, instead of oftentimes we set goals and intentions for a new year, right? A whole new year, versus really dropping into more productive quadrants of time and looking at life and creating a whole lot in a matter of 12 weeks. We might call that a quarter, right? Or a season. But just the power really of focus and really dropping into that is, what are your top, 1, 2, or 3 key goals for 2 weeks that would really move the needle for you? And whether that's establishing or up-leveling your health habits, your exercise and fitness for personal and for business, you're really going to develop that funnel system, or your website landing page, your opt-in, launch a podcast or write a book. I mean, it just depends. Or of course, really commit to, like, hey, if we're going to host 2 classes a month, or a class a month, and one online and one in person, and we're doing these various things to help support my team growth, right? Whatever those things might look like for you, is just invite you to, sorry, I'm shaking up my morning drink. So if you're like, Tiff, what are you doing over there? Just shaking up my morning drink. But I do love that conversation of the 12-week year, and thinking about really intentionally for the next, 12 weeks, creating what you're after and really being intentional about it. And it might even be the next 4 weeks, right? The month of February is, sometimes I think we dilute ourselves, right? We have bright, shiny objects, we have noises, we have scrolling, we have all the things. And there's like, oh, there's 27 things we want to do and be better at, versus really choose 2, right? The power of the choose 2, 1 for personal, 1 for business, or even 1 for personal, 2 for business. But being so intentional about this month, what are you up to? Like this month for me, I'm really in business wise, we're doing some branding things for that side of business. But then I'm also hosting myself 2 gatherings for connection, 2 different Galentine's events, with 2 different nice size groups of women, and helping create connection and nourishment for them, and fun, of course, in the pink and the charcuterie. By the way, Trader Joe's, of course, which if you were here last week, you saw I legit have a PhD in snacks. But Costco and Trader Joe's both have these heart macaroon shaped cookies, right? In like a red, a pink, a light pink. So super cute. But I'm hosting some gatherings. I'm very intentional. February is like, let's nourish others, in my life, dear friends, to my network, and creating those types of connections and those things. And that may not be up for you, but that's what I'm choosing for this month. Is one, I'm moving my body every day with some kind of movement, and then 4 dedicated type workouts, whether we're doing core or arms or something through the week. That's for personal. And then business, again, is a hybrid of branding. We're doing some up leveling, some new photos, and some new design with things that are coming soon. And that I'm doing gatherings. I'm doing some connections. I'm attending someone else's gathering today. I am attending, and then hosting my own. So it's just being ones for what is it that you want to create, right? But clarity, write this for me in your notes. Clarity is power. When you create, you have clarity. My goodness, what a difference it makes. But something while I'm thinking about that, give me just a moment. I'm going to pull up a worksheet that I created for my recent mastermind group that I think I'd like to show it to you. Feel free to snapshot it. And let's pull this up. Okay, that's one. Where's the other one? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys 2 worksheets we had created for my creation mastermind group. So one second. And it's all around this energy. I want you to write for me in your notes is, again, when we come into business, it's, well, we can look at both personally as my energy is my currency, right? Your own wellness, your own nourishing of yourself, and then nourishing of your business and growing community. But anyone who's creating major thrive or even minor thrive in their life, they're community builders. And that's what people who are phenomenal at network marketing are doing. They create a hub. They create a space of, I belong here. I get needs met. I mean, that's in essence what we're doing here this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're catching this. But it's also then my community is my currency. You've heard me say a few times before that you're all in the people business, right? And that people are your business, and to nourish your network, nourish your relationships. And so one of the things all of my private coaching clients and my mini mastermind I've been running are all focusing on working on and being accountable to is to do things that nourish and grow their community. So let me show you this one worksheet just because I love a good visual. And let's pull this up for you. Let's see if you can see that. Okay, I know that you can see also the backdrop of my screen because this is not taking up the entire screen, but at the top there it says grow your community. But some of those things you can see is number one, and this is for a month at a glance. Again, my community equals my currency, but you can use this a month at a glance or a week at a glance. Feel free to create your own worksheet off this template. This is something I provided my mastermind recently. But again, at the top there, it says gatherings I'm hosting every month, online and in person. Gatherings I'm attending every month, online or in person. I'm personally attending someone else's gathering today and on Friday of nourishing my relationships, my network, my connections. And then how many people, minimum target outrageous, that's what MTO on the form says. How many people are you nourishing with a personal touch, one-to-one? Minimum target and outrageous for either, again, a week or a month at a glance. Then you have these things again, like again, in person could be coffee or lunch dates, walk and talks, get-togethers, events of some kind. Online, texts and emails, phone calls, Zoom dates. I have a Zoom date Friday with 2 amazing women that are in different parts of the United States. And so we've synced up our schedules, and we're having a Zoom lunch/tea date as well. And then there's some space for deposits made and intentional relationships that have been nourished. So this is one of the forms. Let me pull up another one. Nope, that's just the same form. We just gave them color choices. Give me just one second. Oh. Sorry, I have my Zoom that's up right there. And so I'm trying to grab that. Let's see. Okay. The other part of growing community is online and with content sharing, content creation and content sharing, right? Being intentional about your different platforms are a great way to grow community as well. Like my podcasting community, my social media channels, those types of things, whatever you as well are doing. But there's a space there that you can see that says content themes I want to focus on this week or month. Having different themes, right? Like this month where you guys have BOGO and, it's Valentine's and Galentine's and nourishment and love or self-care, various things throughout the year. As you head into March, you might do some content around spring cleaning and clean products, or really doing like a refresh or reset with MetaPower, those types of things. And then similar as MTO goals for content pieces you'll be sharing each week or each month that nourish your community. So you might have a newsletter email list, right? A YouTube channel, a podcast, your social media, but that we show up with intention to add value as well and grow and nourish communities online. And so I just wanted to show those with you. Again, those are some things that you're saying not seeing the new page, might need to reshare. Oh, okay. Let me re-show that to you. Thank you. You can see that. Just 1 second. We'll give you guys this. Okay. Can you see that now? Did someone say yes or no in the chat box? Can you see this now on screen? Okay. Okay, awesome. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is the second page. Again, we did one section, one set of pages in green and gold and one in mauve and gold, just based on their preferences of a group of men and women who are actively growing their business, their online presence and platform, and growing their community. So as we look at this, just take a quick screenshot. I've already talked you through it. I just wanted you to see the visual, but having an intention for every week or month at a glance for this worksheet of content themes, ways you're showing up and nourishing via content for community, pieces of content you're sharing, channels, platforms to do that. Okay. You're so welcome. Anyway, I just invite all of you, again, I know most, it's terms you're not necessarily my private client or my creation mastermind group, but wanting you to see these different things where having that for you, hold on just 1 second, but having you see the template and you can create your own. Okay, I'm just sending something to Sharon really quick. So I just wanted you to see the template. You again can create your own worksheets off of that, something of that nature, but helping you from the perspective of seeing and having the awareness that, again, foundationally, it's like we want to show up for you and show up for yourself, personal. And secondly, you want to show up and be a community builder, right? Like many of you were part of this. I think I shared this already in this group. But when my journal went live in November, and it's a little hybrid of a book and a journal that's teaching the concept of manifestation, and it's a daily creation experience, or once a week, people can do it how often they want. But we're teaching this concept, right? Is the power of vision, and then the power of daily gratitude journaling, and then inspired action, and these daily pages, right, of helping you do that. But when this went live, this little creative, my creation journal, right, when this beauty went live, we were hitting some amazing targets with Amazon, top new release. The journal, there was no journal category, so it was just hanging out in self-help next to Oprah Winfrey and Brene Brown and Eckhart Tolle and all of these things. Well, loves, that was the compilation of me building a nourishing community for years. And so I didn't necessarily hit best-selling status. My community did, meaning, I mean, yes, it's me and my name, but my community rallied me. My community put me in those things. Same thing when we launched my podcast 4.5 years ago, which is coming back. I've been messaged about that of like, when's the podcast coming back? Well, we're in this rebranding experience and we're waiting until that's done. But we have some beautiful shows and content just waiting to go live, which will likely be by the middle to end of February. But same thing when my podcast went live, and that same day, within 3-4 hours, my podcast is in the categories from Apple of new and noteworthy, which is basically hitting like New York Times bestseller list, but in podcasting, and top shows and these types of things. And I don't share any of that to brag. I just share it with the awareness that I've been nourishing community for years. You guys see me do that all the time, all year round, right? All of my coaching clients, if they're building coaching platforms, I'd invite you guys to be thinking about the same. They all have the assignment in their sales funnel that they're doing one free masterclass a quarter. So 4 at least a year. Like you watch me do gratitude series. I did one the end of the year. We do them sprinkled throughout the year where they're either free or then we have what I call a tier 1, an entry level type thing to participate. And those are great community builders and just nourishing with intention. And so when we're doing some of these launches, podcasts and this, and then, other things to come, it's because regularly, if you're showing up, nourishing your community. So that makes such a difference. Now, Cindy's asking, can you readdress MTO? Yes. And then Brenda, you answered that, love, but that went just to host and panelists. Susan Entz, you're also on just in host and panelists, just a little heads up. So if you guys want to change your settings with your Zoom channels so you can pop into and everything you're sharing. But MTO stands for Cindy. It's a goal setting strategy. How many of you have my goals training program? It's a free download. It's about $100 value on my website. Called the 7 Strategies of Successful Goal Achievement. If you've never downloaded that, or if it's been a year or two, or you forgot, I'd invite you to go download that again and give that a listen. And you, again, can find that at tiffanyspeaks.com. And it's right on the front main page, or you can go under free resources. But that MTO is one of the 7 strategies taught there around successful goal thought work of helping you set yourself up, right? To be like, I'm strategically going to set myself up to win. And MTO stands for minimum, target, outrageous. Minimum, target, and outrageous is helping you set goals. Why I love that model. That's a gentleman named Raymond Aaron's work. It's not my work. But in that space, what he's talking about is oftentimes, loves, one of the ways that we don't set ourselves up to win is our goals are pie in the sky, all or nothing, right? All or nothing. And so it's just one of those things that the experience of making your goals more scalable. And that's why I love minimum, target, and outrageous. So when you set your exercise goals or your organization goals or how many people you're going to contact, that's a great way to use MTO, is you might say minimum of 5 people a week. Target might be 10 or 15, and outrageous might be 20 plus. For some of you, your minimum is 20 people a week. Target is 30, and maybe outrageous for you is 50 plus. But it's just using that as having scalable. So in those scenarios that I just showed you of nourishing community is, again, how many people am I going to nourish? Minimum, target, outrageous. How many pieces of content am I going to create this week or this month? Minimum, target, outrageous. That help you progress your goal. So yes, that will help support you. And thank you. Kathy says it's so helpful. I revisit it at least once a year. That goals program, again, you can find at tiffanyspeaks.com and go through that, right? And have that support. It's an audio, about an hour, 20-minute audio, and then a companion workbook that's delivered immediately to your inbox. No strings attached. You don't have to pay for it, but it is legit rich in value and content to support you with goals and mindset. That might be a great tool or something to also introduce your teams to as well. Invite them. It's an open download to anybody that wants that. So anyway, but welcome again into a new month. I just invite you. One of the most powerful universal principles is the power of intention. And sometimes we forget that. We just get in, the regular task, we get in task mode versus vision mode, right? And visiting your vision and dropping into vision, dropping into intention. What am I going to create today, this week, this month? Who am I going to be? How am I going to show up? What's going to be my intention for my life, my home, my marriage, my business, my body, all of it, my bank account? What's your intention? Coming back to vision. Many of you write down task lists, right? Like we make to-do lists and you have an ongoing to-do list. How many of you, though, regularly visit your vision, your goals, and your intention, and having your tasks then align to what are my most critical priorities? And that is one of the things that we're focusing on as a group this week, this month, is reading or rereading or listening to the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown. He's a phenomenal teacher. I love his material, and he's really great at helping us get clarity to our essentials and helping us with that conversation and that awareness that we're intentional about what are my top priorities. Because sometimes we're just so busy, busy, busy. But I'm going to ask that you think about the question, am I productive? And even this question of looking at an hour or a time block, an afternoon, a day, a week, what am I producing in this hour, in this time block, in this week, in this month? What am I producing? The world isn't going to pay you. doTERRA is not going to pay you to be busy. The world, life, is going to pay you for being productive. What are you producing? And productivity has a lot to do with how you decide, define, and guardly protect your priorities, right? How powerful that is. Yes, the book is called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. How many of you have already read or listened to that book at least one point or time in your life? How many of you have ever read or listened to that at some time? If you just say so in the chat box, if that's a yes. And even if it's been years ago, right? It's actually Natalie and Andy who introduced that book to me. They referred it to me probably now 7, 8 years ago at least. It's been a while, but it's a book I come back to at least once a year. Yeah, like Terry. Hi, Terry. Nice to see you. Or you started it, Jean, and just didn't finish it. Totally understand that, right? Myself included. Like there's so many different books, but it's one of those that's worth revisiting at least once a year. And so, yes, I'm excited. Many of you are going to go on your first date with this book, or some of you, you're like, ooh, yes, I've done it. I'm just coming back to it. So I am going to invite you, if you've not ordered that book and you'd like to, this is not a must-have to do. It's just a wisdom, like, hey, join us as we're going to be talking about this. But I'm going to invite you to get it on Audible and listen to it, or order the book, physical copy, whichever one you want. Yes, I'm loving you guys in the chat box saying, yes, it's a great resource. Love it so much. Recommend it to everyone listening to now. Okay, great. And that's a great resource, again, to come back to, which I love for your world, essentials, right? Essential oils, but essentials, essentialism, being as clear as what's essential as well as what's non-essential. And when we really think about, Stephen Covey, when he teaches time management, when he did, he would do sometimes these object lessons, and he'd bring in these like a large glass jar, and then he'd have a few different buckets. And one bucket had really large rocks, right? Really big rocks. One bucket had little pebbles. One bucket had sand. And he would teach the lesson that many of us, it's like keeping my email up all day. Well, that's like pouring a lot of sand in. Huge distraction, right? And then trying to squeeze in some pebbles and then a rock or two and so forth. And the way, as he would visually teach this, is the way that all the items would fit in this large glass jar is the big rocks had to go in the jar first, right? Meaning your core priorities, your essentials. What is foundational for me to grow as my health and wellness, essential for my home, my life, my parenting, if applicable, essentials for our relationship to thrive, essentials for my home to stay in order and flow. What are those systems or those core things? In your business, you might say nourishing my relationships, definitely a big rock. Producing content, if that's part of your business model, right? Those types of things is you'd put the big rocks in the jar first, equivalent or representing symbolically your core or top priorities, your essentials. And see, too many people, myself included at times, because when there's times I veer the path and I'm not living my own coaching or this coaching, and it's like, hey, there's too much noise, distraction, text, my phone, emails, scrolling, right? Or doing this thing or that thing, bright, shiny object, urgent, 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 versus prioritization and really being like, you know what? Before I meet with the world, I meet with me and God. That's a core essential for me. Big rock in the jar. That's also called a morning ritual, right? That's a foundational block. Happened this morning that it goes in the jar first before I touch my phone, before I text, before I do these other things, is being intentional about that. That's a big rock in my jar. It might be a big rock in yours too. And then another big rock is like, I need to invest in my physicality, my fitness, right? And those types of things. That's going to be a big rock. Another big rock is just like you, I'm going to nourish relationships. And like I just showed you those forms for my coaching community, those forms representing community building of in-person and online gatherings, those types of things are ways one-on-one I'm nourishing, is how you're showing up and doing that. So it's powerful. You go, ooh, you're going to put those big rocks in the jar, your essentials first, right? Those things that matter most to you. And then you have the pebbles, and he'd dump a bucket of the pebbles, and they would kind of shimmy down in the open crevices of those big rocks, and they would fit. And then same, you'd put the sand in, and the sand would come in and it would kind of shift in and find its space, and all of it would fit. Yeah, like Kathy says, we used to teach this in Sunday school classes. Absolutely. It's a great object lesson, especially around prioritization and values and what's the foundation, the core of your life. And so just coming home to for yourself, when we come back to clarity, what are my goals? Who am I going to be? What am I creating? What am I moving towards? Download my goals program if you don't have it, right? Because that step is the most important. Because without vision, we simply are just doing this, right? And it's like, and when we're in vision, then we're like, oh, I'm making intentional choices. I'm creating. I'm not responding and reactive. I'm proactive and intentional with my life. You come back to vision, you come back to goals. Then we move into time management, time blocking, and these types of principles of how we're then aligning our schedule and our time to match our core priorities. So that's something, yes. I'm not going to pull the forms up once more, but they're there, and so you can get the gist of them. I know others may have screenshot, but the gist of those forms, Monetta, is just simply that you are intentional about growing your community. And what the form was outlining was gatherings you're hosting in person and online, gatherings you're attending in person, online. And then we talked through MTO as how many people on a weekly or monthly basis you're going to nourish, minimum target outrageous. And then in terms of content themes and how many content pieces in a week or a month at a glance that you're going to be intentional about creating and sharing. And again, content pieces could be your newsletter list and sending out a newsletter. It could be a podcast, it could be your YouTube channel, it could be social media content that you're sharing. So hopefully, and again, this session we're in right now, Two Loves, is all being recorded. So you can come back and watch this and listen to it as many times as you want. So if you're just joining this, you're like, oh, wait, this sounds so juicy. It is. But in respecting all the others that have been here already for half an hour, 40 minutes, it's like you can come back and watch that so you can tap into it. So glad many of you are just ordering this book. Cass says just bought it on Audible for $10.23. That's an awesome price point. Again, the book is Essentialism by Greg McKeown that we're watching or we're listening to or reading this month to help support us with this. So with our time left, about 23 minutes at this point, I'd love to support you. How many of you here, if there's something that's up for you that you'd like some coaching or support around, please feel free to put that in the chat box, and or if you would like to raise your hand, feel free to do that. And if you want to come on live, happy to promote you to a panelist and we can talk live through that. So feel free to drop that in. Jeff says, what if I have no idea about what social media content? Do you want to elaborate to that? And do you mind, Jeff, if I promote you to panelists, we can talk through when you say no idea about what to create or how to share it? Maybe we pop you in if that's okay. Okay, the rest of you, if you have a question, let's get those in the queue. Jeff, I am going to, 1 second, try to make you a panelist here. Here we go. Hi, friend. So good to see you. All right, Jeff, I'm not seeing you in the lineup. Okay, there he is. Okay, there.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Hi, friend. Yes. So do you want to give just a little perspective what you mean about this?
Yeah, on social media, what to create for content, as a guy who's transitioning from carpentry to doTERRA to be a network marketer full time. And I am a tool of social Fraser Brooks programs and such, but I know of what I can do else is that
Okay, you have Jeff, you're cutting in and out. Your connection might just be a little shaky.
that idea.
No biggie.
Sorry,
That's okay. So I think I caught the gist of that. And
just
Karina, I
trying to
don't
find
oh,
it.
go ahead. Karina in the chat box says, tell everyone what rad is. Go ahead and share, Karina, what that is, because I'm not sure what that means. That must be someone else's content piece. I'm excited to hear, though. I love a good, share on that. But with social media, Jeff, my friend, I think this block has more to do with you're probably trying to be a perfectionist because you have so much content to share when it comes to health, when it comes to oils. I mean, how many oils do you guys have? Oh, yes, Rob and duplicate. No, you're right. I say R&D, R&D, not R-A-D. R&D stands for Rob and duplicate. There's so many people out there with what she's probably saying that have, they have different, thriving social accounts in doTERRA, in natural health, in wellness that you can follow. And you're like, oh, I love that idea. I'm going to make that my own. I love that idea. I'm going to make that my own. I love that, that type of thing. But you guys, with health and wellness, you have on bottomless well of content to be sharing, right? From tips and ideas and lifestyle and so forth. I mean, you think about if even you just highlighted one oil a week, how many oils are there now? And I know it's not all oils, it's also supplementation, health and wellness. Again, write for me in your notes, Jeff, sell the destination, not necessarily the airplane, right? And it's like you're in the business of health and happiness, helping people be healthier and happier. You can share so many things around self-care, around sleep, around tummy, around anxiety, around immunity, around clean products. Yeah, plethora of, thanks for that, Sharon, plethora of. But it's one of those things that you go, oh my goodness, it's just, it's like, if your question is, I don't know what to share.
Well, a lot of people, are talking about selling yourself, and your products are a byproduct that people are buying into you, Tiffany. You deliver great education and enthusiasm and insight. I don't have that.
Oh, no, 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 no,
I'm
no. No, no, no.
transitioning from
Hey,
a trade to oil.
okay. You say, I don't have that. So this is, again, more of a mindset thing, which is many of you for social media. That's why I say it's more of a perfectionistic. I've got to be someone other than who I am to be successful at this, or I need to be different. No, you show up of like, you're passionate about these products, Jeff. You share your passion. And I love helping others. And I love what this has done for me and my wife. I think, is your wife's name Anne?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I have a
Yes,
good
you got it
memory.
right.
That's a good memory. Okay. But it's like, hey, Anne and I are here, or here's us making up our MetaPower drink or the supplements we're taking or getting on a walk today. Look at this view. We love being healthier and happier. And it's not that you even have to say that language, but it's like, this is the vibe of your social media is about health and wellness, mental health, happiness, health and happiness for every one of you. You do not ever, you're never going to run out of content. And remember, you don't have to also create new content every time. Some of the content I'm rinsing and repeating a lot. Sometimes I'm sharing content I wrote 3 years ago. We might add a new image to it, but it's the same content we've already written before. And similar, you guys have been here with me in community for years and years. Some of the same content we're talking about again and again and again, from mindset to belief to goals to time management to sales to leadership to mentoring. I mean, we're rinsing and repeating themes here all the time. And you guys still show up, even though it's content we've technically covered before. You're here again and again and again, just like I do the same in spaces for my own nourishment. And so you're getting some really good comments also in the chat box. I want you to make sure to go back and read. But you may also want to find, I know there's One Drop or there's other groups like that that help you create or produce content. So you've got some good suggestions in the chat box, but the reality is like you sharing, like, I'm just passionate about helping others be healthier. And then you sharing your lifestyle of what you're up to, your health, your wellness, your goals, or the book you're reading right now. Right. It's just kind of like, hey, because that maybe it might help you. You might want to read. I've just read Atomic Habits. Love this book, Creating Healthier Habits. Is that up for you? Do you want to create healthier habits this year? It's a great question to ask in your social media.
Okay.
This book helped, as well as some tools that I use that help me regularly drop into focus or to creation or to inspiration. This is my favorite blend to diffuse. Diffusing is a great thing to be sharing on your channels, right? What oils? I technically, you guys, I put an oil in my stories on Instagram on Monday. I was attending a mastermind and I had my journal, my passion planner, my set of pens, and then my Motivate roll-on, roller bottle oil was part of this little shot that's like in creation mode today. And I don't technically sell doTERRA. I have an account and people can buy oils from me. But the reality is like, it's just part of my lifestyle and I'm sharing it because it's real. I mean, I was using that oil as part of this creation session I was in. And so you guys don't have to, sometimes I think we're social media, again, many of us self-included at times, the deal is with social is you're trying to curate so strongly like this, the perfect image, or I need to do it perfect, or it's got to be this or that. And why I'm always about like, take a social media class then, if that's really getting in your way. But I just think the bigger thing, you can learn all the things about social and algorithms and stuff. This is often a mindset block. This for you has nothing to do with, can I create and share great content? No, this is how you have a perception of yourself about what this means. And I've got to do it a certain way. And I'm not that guy, or it's not this level, or it's not perfected or curated. You're in your head too much about it versus your passion and your desire. And you're not wrong. And I'm so glad you're talking about this, because how many of you know this is you too? How many of you way overthink social media? Have you ever sat and worked on a post for an hour because it's like, I got to get it perfect, got to get it right? Tell the truth in the chat box. Let's own this together. How many of you know you can get snagged with it? Yeah, look at all these me's and yeses. Yeah, because a lot of that, no, again, I love about being intentional with what we're creating and sharing. But many times it's not that. It's literally you're overthinking, or you're working on what I call image management heavily. It's like, how do I look seen? Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
Thank you. This is good information and I'll put it to work this week and share how it goes next week.
Okay. Well, so good to see you.
Thank you.
Tell Anne hello as well. But thank you for that. The reminder is just like my loves is that, you go, how we're often hanging ourselves up, because this is why you hear things around mindset and belief, how often we get ourselves snagged, because it's not like, I don't know what to do. I know how to post on an account. I know how to send the text. I know how to send the email. I know how to share on social. Sometimes we are literally learning the technology, like, well, how do I upload a photo? How do I share? Like for some of when we were first learning social. Yeah. But oftentimes the bigger dynamic is like, I'm in my mind about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I have learned how to do the uploading, and I've got an account with doTERRA Social, but it's using the stock images and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, love it. You've got some great suggestions in the chat box, so feel free to do that.
I'll go read.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
love.
Tiffany, and everybody else who's helping.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Okay, friends. Anyone else have a question today or something you'd like me to share? Feel free to add that to the chat box, or if you want to come on live, we can do that as well. We still have about 10, 11 minutes, so let's utilize it. I just love this conversation. And, my own dance and walk with social media, it's been, it's a unique thing. And I'm with you. Shelly says, sometimes I don't always love to post. I haven't always been social if I've been through some tough stuff. Yeah. And, you get to be discerning what you share and what, you're like, hey, the vibe of that and so forth. There's times I'm in a challenge spot myself. And sometimes I'm still sharing, but content that, again, I've already created or something of that nature. Sometimes I'll share what I'm up to. I do think when it comes to Brene Brown has a really good discernment on how vulnerable should I be online? Should I share everything? She says if it's a wound at the moment, not to share it. If it's a scar, that's a great place to share. If you're sharing something like, hey, this challenge or this thing, if you're actively though, and like, I'm in a real tough spot, and again, you guys choose to do whatever you want, that's more of an active wound versus it's a scar. And I'm now sharing the lessons from those experiences. And I really loved that awareness. Like, yeah, I want to keep it real and authentic, but I also protect my own energy and protect my own wellness. And sometimes it isn't the time to be sharing something that you're processing or going through or what that might look like. So, but I do feel like, again, loves, is having and knowing. A great example to another great social media. I teach social media in my full business course, like the full layers of this. But one of the things I invite you to do is to identify what are your content categories. And then again, you're rinsing and repeating, and somewhere between, say, 3 to 6 content categories that you might have. And you might have one content category as your family. You might be a huge like coffee or foodie or something, coffee aficionado or foodie or something. And that might be one of your categories you're sharing once a week. And then of course you have your business in doTERRA, and you might have, again, one that's more related to mindset might be a category. Mindset or motivation, inspiration might be one of your categories. Health, wellness, tips, recipes, ideas. So powerful. Jeff says, how do I see the chat from the last 5 minutes? Just try to scroll up. Okay. And then it says, sounds like, oh, Sophia has your hand raised. Sharon, can you make Sophia a panelist so we can bring her on? Let's see. There we go. That's happening. Just one moment. But thinking about this again is like, okay, I want to share content. And remember, we sometimes say this in social media that content is king and engagement is queen. The most important thing for social is engagement. And it's not about, sometimes we want to make it about how many followers someone has. Not relevant. What's relevant is engagement. Because sometimes people have huge accounts, but they don't have very big engagement. And then some people, they have maybe, a few hundred followers, perfect, but they have a lot of people that engage. What you're after is engagement. Some things to help engagement or questions, like I modeled with Jeff, is how many of you are working on healthier habits this year? Or what's your biggest health goal for this year or this month? Or where are you feeling the most out of balance? Or, how many of you are great sleepers? And for those of you that are not, I can help you with this. Again, that leads into sharing the new Serenity sleep system. So these types of things. Content is king, engagement is queen. Meaning it's like you need the content, but you also, the engagement is what you're after. The last thing I just want to make sure we say about social media, unless Sophia wants to ask more about that, which I'm fine. Remember, your self-esteem does not live on your social media accounts. We do not go to our social media to get our self-esteem needs met. Oh my gosh, I got likes, I didn't get any likes. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, and it's like, no. Your self-esteem, I believe, comes from you and God or universe, is like who you are. Social media, see it as fun. Too often you're too uptight about it, self-included at times. I've been there. It's fun. I'm just sharing. I'm educating or entertaining. Some people, I follow their accounts because they're very funny, but education, inspiration, but really back to community, which I already showed you my worksheets today, is community there. It's for connection. Your connection equals currency. And you can connect in people's DMs on their posts. When I say engagement, it's not just on your content. It's go be an engager of other people's content. Comment, like, share, and support and build community there. But remember, you're there on social to add value and create connection. That's your intention. Write that down. I'm on social media to connect and add value. Your self-esteem doesn't live there. Because again, it's like, well, how many likes is enough? And I sometimes will share this piece of content. 1 million likes will never be enough if you don't like yourself. And so it's just one of these potent things that I just want to, when we talk about social media, yes, it's fun. And you don't have to do social media to grow your business. What you have to do to grow your business is create connection. So that might be in person, lunch date, coffee dates, go to local networking things, host your own things, doing the things where you're creating connection with people. Social media is simply one avenue of many of how you create connection. But if you are going to be there, show up to connect and add value. Keep your self-esteem off the screen, right? Oh, that's good. I'm going to write that down. Keep your self-esteem off the screen because I like the S and the S, right? But it's just like being mindful of that. Because there's times I share content, gets a ton of engagement, right? People are sharing it, loving it, commenting it. There's times I share content and it's a ghost town, it's crickets. That's for me, that's for you. But if every time I share, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, this is really defining me. I am being voted in right now as like homecoming queen or not. I'm liked or not. I'm this, am I doing it right? How am I? It's like, no, I just want to add value and I want to create connection. So I'm going to keep sharing. And the more, again, we're lighthearted about it, that's going to serve all of you really well too. So anyway, I know this doesn't necessarily, a social media training, but I love that Jeff asked that because we all need it, right? We're coming home to some essentials today. All right, Sophia, so nice to see you. Where are you joining me from and what's up for you?
Hi, Tiffany. It's my first time here. I'm from Santiago, Chile. I actually just started with doTERRA like a month ago.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So my question is also about mindset. I currently work full-time in a private equity firm, one of the top ones in the world in investor relations. And I'm moving to Boulder, Colorado in July. Okay, so I'm leaving Chile. We're moving with my family to kind of like leave this world, like the matrix or so, or the enterprise world, as you say. But it feels like I'm jumping into a cliff, like it's a lot of fear, of course, but also I feel like a lot of my mindset is like, this is so hard. This is so hard. How do I find people that is actually interested and I'm not connected to people with, I don't know, with depression or people that is not actually willing or coachable to do the job and do this together, because it's a great project, but I keep having this mindset that it's so hard. And I'm jumping into this cliff out of security to something that I have to build, and I just have like this mindset that is like everything is hard.
Well, first of all, number one, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you're connected to doTERRA and you're just such a bright woman and you've got big changes coming with a big move, right? Like you got a lot that's going on. But I love your transparency with this is the mindset here is just be aware. There's a statement I love from a gentleman named Cody Bateman where he says the story on the inside becomes the reality on the outside. The story, someone write that in the chat box, please. The story on the inside becomes the reality on the outside. Yes, Jennifer, I shared that same fear. Can't wait to hear this. Okay. This is a gentleman, Cody Bateman's quote, K-O-D-Y, Bateman. He wrote a book called Promptings that's really good. He's the founder of a beautiful company, also direct sales, called Send Out Cards. But so, Sophia, I just invite you is that your mind is like a mini movie theater, or it's like a blank, it's a canvas. We get to create it. And you, the storyteller, get to decide what the story is. And here's the thing, loves, like you guys are part of one of the coolest businesses on the planet and one that's growing and expanding, which is empowered wellness. That is a huge revolution happening across our country and across the world of people coming home more and more to their roots, to herbs, to practices, to naturopathic medicine, to integrative medicine. We, at least here in the United States, we have less trust in our healthcare system than what we used to have, right? Because big pharma's big money, right? And those types of things. And which I'm grateful for pharmaceuticals. I'm grateful for emergency medicine. Aren't you? Right? There's times where you do need an antibiotic. I'm so grateful for that. So it's not poo-pooing that. It's just the awareness. What's rising up is people are saying, let's integrate. So you have a world audience, sweetheart. So when anyone says, are there going to be enough people? Oh my gosh. It's not about the contacts. It's about your vision, which you're aware this is mindset. Is what story do you want to tell? But everywhere you go, and the biggest thing, Sophia, is that you're a walking billboard for vivacious energy. Show me your vivacious energy. Tap into that for a moment. Take a deep breath. Pull that energy up, maybe shake those shoulders off, shake those little hips, right? But I want you, show me your vivacious energy. I mean, you're from Chile. I know you've got that. It's like zesty, like inborn to you. It's zesty.
I don't know. It's a little embarrassed to do it.
Yeah, but look at her smile and energy. Even just asking that. Can you guys see a shift in her energy? Can you feel your energy shift, Sophia?
Yes, yes.
That energy, honey. Be excited about where you're going. Because sometimes when people are new to direct sales or new to anything, they think, oh, well, until I'm diamond, until I'm this, and it's like, no, you be her now. If you were already diamond in doTERRA making $100,000 at least a year, let's say as an example, now I can't quote that of exact numbers. How would you carry yourself if you were already a diamond in doTERRA making at least $10,000 to $20,000 a month? How would your energy be? Would it be
a lot more secure?
Yeah, confident.
Yes.
Confident, energy, sexy. Yeah, and you're amazing right now. Exactly, loves. And so it's just more, how do I embody that now? Is be her now. Be in the hope, in the lighthearted, and the trust versus, oh, is this going to work? I don't know. And who this, and what are they going to think, and all the things. It's like fall in love. Wayne Dyer would say it this way: fall in love with what you're selling, sell your love. But keep your mind right. Have affirmations. I'm a powerful I'm a vivacious woman. I'm a vibrant woman. I want you saying that to your mind every day, multiple times a day. Right? And I'm her now. How would I be if I was already this on the outside, but you get dressed, so to speak, on the inside? Like, I am a best-selling author right now. I am already this, that, or the other. I am a leader. I am this. I am a representation for empowered health, vibrant health. This is so important. You guys, this is so important for all of you. Literally a few days ago with a presidential diamond, someone I coached years ago, we're still dearest of friends now. She and I were having a conversation, and she's coming to, I'm hosting a gathering this week called February Favorites, right? It's a favorite things party. And every woman is bringing 3 of their favorite thing, and then they leave with 3 new favorite things. And again, this is where we're doing the heart macaroons and a big charcuterie board. I'm doing this gathering. Why I'm telling you this is she's a presidential diamond, has been for years. But she's growing. She's progressing. She's had various things over the years, like everyone else in sales and the pandemic. So she's been in more like, hey, I want to be back in growth mode the last, year or so. But she said to me, I said, yeah, come. And I said, I think most people are bringing, like a self-care type item, being February and being Galentine's, like what's your favorite lip balm or a favorite, book you love, or bath salts, or, and I said, definitely bring some oils. And her response to me, which we had a great little on the spot coaching moment, she goes, oh, no, I don't want to bring oils. I'm sure everyone already knows about them or has them. And I was like, woman. See, she's presidential diamond, but even then it's like, everyone already knows about it. And what Becky just said in the chat box is so true. I just heard a few weeks ago that the American market is only 2% saturated with doTERRA. So many people. I don't know the exact number, but you guys, it is so much lower than what you think. Because you regularly hang out in doTERRA crowds, guess what? You think, oh, everyone already knows about it. And I said to my dear friend, I said, honey, let's catch this story right now. How often do you think the thought, oh, everyone already knows about it? That thought is not magnetic to what you want to manifest. Is you're a walking embodiment. Please bring the oils to this gathering. And even if some have already heard of them, if I knew you were bringing an oil or an oil type product to this gathering, I want your gift because I know how powerful they are. So we had even at Presidential Diamond, we still had a whole mindset alignment moment, because it's like, The way you think, you guys, guess what? You can't control a whole lot in this world, but the thoughts you think and the actions you take. So I love, Sophia, thank you for the real talk. It's like, what are the thoughts I'm thinking? And what do I choose to think? And what's my story? And what's my energy? And that vivacious woman that's like, I am creating so much cool change for people. Guys, I'm just saying, there's so much richness for you to influence many people's lives as you're dropping into it. So have core affirmations, maybe even a vision board visualization. I would also maybe create a playlist, a music playlist of music that inspires you and brings out that zesty woman. And I'd listen to that. For the rest of you, same thing, create something like these tools that help shift you into that lane of being your higher self, your favorite self, that type of thing. So nice to meet you.
Nice
So
to meet you too. Thank you very much.
Yes, I love it. So good. All right, love, such a joy to be with all of you this week. Have a great beginning of February. Have a great month. Go download your goals program if you don't have it. You may also want to, again, get the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Come back to these principles. This session's been recorded. Thank you for your shares. This has been rich as we've talked about goals and social media and sharing and courage and confidence and mindset. Once again, such a joy to be with you in this community. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Create with intention, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, everyone.